All right, go ahead and introduce yourself, who you help, and how you help them.
Sure. So I'm Heather, and I'm the owner of Divine Ascension Company. And there's really two branches of my business. On the one side, I do leadership and organizational consulting, where I work with business owners and entrepreneurs and really kind of help them get back to their alignment with their mission and the purpose for the reason why they built their business in the first place. If they have a team, I have options where we do team building exercises and workshops, and I kind of help teach them what I like to call horizontal partnership, which is just kind of bringing a different kind of equality between them and all of their employees. And then on the other side, I do the healing services. I specialize mostly in inner child healing and energy clearing sessions. I also do a lot of divination, so I have Akashic Records readings and tarot readings and different kinds of things like that. Um, and I also host a podcast called Everything You Need to Know About the Ascension of Humanity, which is just breaking down spiritual concepts. I have other practitioners and things that come on and kind of explain what they do so people, just the everyday average person, can understand what's going on. And yeah, that's mostly me in a nutshell.
I love that. So, how did you get into doing what you're doing?
So I have a master's degree in applied behavior analysis, which is in the psychology field. And I've spent most of my career not as a spiritual development coach or healer, but before that, um, working with people with disabilities. I was also a team leader, manager, owner of other businesses. And so I utilize that knowledge and education to bring into my spiritual practices, but also going through my own spiritual journey and practicing my gifts. I've been an intuitive and an empath my whole life. And once I learned how to work with my gifts and really put them into practice, I decided that I didn't want to work for anyone else ever again and that I should use these gifts that I have to help other people.
That's quite a journey that you
Yeah.
have had. How would you say your approach is different than others in your field?
So, because of my background in the psychology field, I blend science and spirituality with everything that I do. So other healers might not have that kind of background, but I know that there's a lot of people, especially skeptics or people who don't really know much about energy healing and the spiritual journey. I have that education to back me up, as well as the research and other things like that to kind of get people to understand a little bit more about what's happening.
Yeah, I think that understanding and also being able to reach different demographics with that message is so important. So, how have you changed your networking strategy over time from when you first started until now?
Well, when I first started, I didn't really have one. So it's been quite a journey. I was working with a partner who had a little bit more of a reach than I did because he was already networking for his own gifts. And I was kind of piggybacking on that at first, but I was like, this isn't working because A, he's not really paying attention to me and what I need, but also I need to be able to do this for myself. So I kind of did some research and figured out exactly what networking and marketing is because both of those things kind of just made my brain go fuzzy. I didn't want to do it. So I had to really dig in and start building those collaborations and meeting people in the field and just getting myself out there. So it's been quite a journey because now I utilize networking events that you and other people hold and also really meeting other people in the field to collaborate with. So it's been a beautiful process.
Yeah, and I like that you mentioned how you didn't even really know what networking was or what marketing was. Could you go into that a little more? Because I know there's a lot of misconceptions about it.
Yeah. So, and this is just my opinion of how I view both of those things, because both of those words, like I said, just made my brain go fuzzy, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I can build my website, I can do the emails, I can do all the things, but I hated social media even before this, and so I really had to get into all of that, all of those things, and all the platforms and all the stuff. But when I was looking at like networking is really building, your network, right? So you're meeting new potential clients, you're meeting potential collaborators, other people in the field for referral systems, and things like that. So that was, I kind of lump networking and marketing together, but marketing is actually promoting and getting yourself out there and letting people know what exactly it is that you do. So they kind of work together hand in hand, but there's different tactics and strategies that you can use for both. But yeah, I'm still learning as I go, pretty much.
Yeah, and I remember when I was in front of the audience and it wasn't all entrepreneurs, and I was asking like, what is marketing? Like, because I wanted to know, like, what did you think marketing is? Like, what do you think networking is? And because of course there's a lot of misconceptions out there. Like when I got into it, I had a lot of misconceptions. I thought it was just you make stuff up. And I mean, it's a lot more than you just make stuff up. I mean, AI can just make stuff up, but that doesn't mean that that's working for you.
Right.
So, what would you say are the best ways to get the most out of networking events?
So the networking events that I have been going to have been amazing because each one has kind of a different format, which is nice, but you really get a chance to do the introduction. So you get to learn a little bit about what the other people who are attending do and who they help. So that kind of gives you an idea of who you can work with as far as referrals or collaborations. And also, and that's the one thing I love about the collaborations, especially if you're trying to grow your audience and get that visibility, which is kind of the whole point of networking and marketing, is when you do collaborations or you have a referral system, not only are you now working with your own audience, but you both have the opportunity to get in front of each other's audiences, which is amazing. And also, you can put both of your expertise and knowledge out there for both of the audiences. So it really is a win-win, I think. And that's been my favorite part is working to find these people to do collaborations with and just to get to know how other people do their spiritual businesses and learning from each other has been an awesome opportunity.
Yeah, and I love that you pointed that out because sometimes people don't think, especially in the spiritual business space, about doing collaborations. Sometimes there can be an I'll do everything myself
Yeah,
mentality.
you can. You can. You can try, but it's so much easier to work with other people.
Definitely.
There's enough out there for everyone, so we should work together.
Would you say you're more introverted or extroverted, and how does that affect the choices you make about networking?
This is a really interesting question because I'm kind of both, depending on the situation. So I'm very extroverted in that I'm a Leo and I like to collaborate. I like to talk to people. I like to get myself out there. I like building those relationships, but I'm also a little bit introverted because I'm very sensitive to energy. So if it's not the right person, like growing up in my 20s, early 30s, I was a bartender. I was in the bars. I was socializing. I was a very social butterfly. I was out all the time, but I wasn't really building relationships. I was just surrounded by noise because I was trying to numb all of that energy stuff. And so now that I'm more in tune with all of those things, it's very difficult sometimes to be an extrovert when you're with people who your energy doesn't align with or you just are too far apart, right? So it's kind of it depends on the people that I'm around and the situation because sometimes it can be a little draining, but I do enjoy doing it.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
I know the feeling of being around people but not being really connected to them as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
getting comfortable being uncomfortable is part of the entrepreneur skill set. What helped you get past that when things felt uncomfortable?
Mhm. Practice probably is the most important thing because the more you do something, the less uncomfortable it will become. But really just giving myself a pep talk and just being like, okay, we have to do this today. I know we don't want to do it, but we have to do it. And like I've noticed that a lot of the things that I had apprehensions about, once I did it a few times, I was like, wow, this is actually really fun. And I really do enjoy this. I just had to come into it with the right mindset. And so just practice and doing it and just, hyping yourself up really just actually helped me a lot.
Yeah, I've found that as well. I remember when I was reluctant to send those DMs about coffee chats. Like now it's not a thing, but at one point it was. So, getting past that was so important and realize, hey, I do enjoy these.
Yeah, I asked myself, what's the worst that could happen? Really? They don't show up? Oh well, keep it moving. Then you don't have to do it anyway. But at least you put yourself out there because that's the only way you're going to grow is if you put yourself out there.
Yeah. What have you found is the best way to balance networking with the other things you do in business and in life so that you set aside the right amount of time for it?
So I actually put for like engagement and content creation and networking, I actually set aside time in my daily calendar so that I'm not spending too much time doing it and kind of prioritizing the things that I have to do each day. So there's like 2 hours in the morning where I set aside for engagement and networking, and then I'll go to networking events when they're scheduled. And then in the afternoon, I have a specific set of time set aside for people to schedule coffee chats and things like that, collaboration meetings with me. So I try to keep a certain amount of time each day delegated toward each of those things that I have to do so that I can have a social life and so that I can do, work maintenance on my website or do my actual sessions and things like that. So prioritizing and time management have been very important for that part.
Yeah, and scheduling too.
Yeah.
How have collaborations been a part of your networking strategy? When do you ask people for them?
So the networking events where I've been meeting people and even just through Facebook groups and things like that, if I find someone that I resonate with, whether it's through commenting on the same post or, engaging with each other about what either one of us is talking about, I'll be like, hey, I think it would be a really cool idea if, the things that we're doing are similar. Let's, have a coffee chat. Let's talk about doing a possible collaboration. I'm starting a new one next week with a girl in one of our groups, and we're Courtney Buckley, and we're doing a perimenopause and neurodivergent series for women who are going through both of those at the same time. And I just did one not that long ago where I did kind of a short little intro to one of my programs. And the whole week before that was promo week, where each day I had a little collaboration with a different practitioner. And we talked about different things that were related to what I was doing. So it's been quite a journey and it's been a lot of fun. And I have more things in the works coming up this year. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
Yeah. What are some of the benefits that you have gotten out of networking?
Meeting some amazing people, not just these amazing practitioners that I'm collaborating with, but potential clients and new friends and just people from all over the world that have such beautiful insights and things that, like I said, we can learn from each other as well as to work with each other, um, giving each other referrals and even swapping services for testimonials and things. So it's been awesome.
Yeah. Collaborations are amazing. And I even put out a lead magnet that lists several different ways to collaborate because I know sometimes people don't realize all of them.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on tapping into your intuition and how you use it when networking?
The main reason I tap into my intuition during networking is just to feel other people's energies, to see if we're in alignment, to see if it's someone that I want to work with. So reading kind of between the lines with their words, with their energy, how they communicate, how they show up, the integrity level, all of that is the intuition is helpful for that. But also just for coming up with collaboration ideas and referral ideas and just I don't know, basically building the foundation of really everything. The intuition can really play a part in all of that.
Do you have a specific process you use for that, or like,
I'm my biggest clair that I work with is claircognizance. So ideas just kind of pop in my mind and I just kind of know, as well as clairsentience. So I kind of feel through the energy when it's, feeling whether we're aligned or not. I get these things, I call them truth tingles, but when something resonates or something is true that I hear or read, I'll get this like burst of electricity going through my body. So that kind of helps me navigate through things. So yeah, I'd say just knowing and feeling into it.
is that something that you always had or you kind of developed over time?
It's something that I've always had. The skills have developed over time and gotten stronger, especially over the last year and a half. But the intuitive knowing and feeling have been there my whole life. It was just a matter of learning how to manage it and actually utilize it properly rather than it just being chaotic.
Yeah, it can definitely be too much to pick up everybody's energy at
Oh
once.
yeah. It was rough as a teenager. Oh my God. It was chaos all the time. It was rough for me to go through, but I've worked through it and came out the other side and it's been an amazing journey.
Any closing remarks or things that you wanted to add?
You're going to provide all my links. So if anybody's interested in networking with me and collaborating or referring or getting to know me better, I do have coffee chats available and I'll put all those links. I'll give you all those links. So I'm always open for working with people. So yeah, let me know.
Thank you so much.